Hey everybody, it's Friday and it's time for some Optimism 101. I was out with my friend Joycine, so it's a little bit late, but I'm here. Anyway, today we're going to be talking about the most important relationship aside from ourselves, and it's the first relationship that we have as a child or as a baby, which is the relationship with our mothers or our caregivers. And they're really important because they can mark how pessimistic or optimistic we are going to be in the future, because depending on how they meet our needs, physiological and just safety needs, it's going to show us whether we are optimistic or not about those expectations in the future. And research shows that people who have attachments that are attachment styles from childhood that are insecure, meaning that they don't trust very much, or avoidant, meaning that they don't care a lot about their caregiver, show that people tend to be more pessimistic. And so people who are in a secure attachment, so that they have a trusting relationship with their caregiver, and that their caregiver actually takes care of those needs that are met, like physiological needs, like feeding, cleaning, eating, and so on, feeding. And so basically that means that we have the reassurance that, okay, there's somebody out there for us, and that somebody's actually going to take care of us. And so what happens is, this, when you don't have this, you don't have a basis for the type of attachment that you're going to have as a grown-up. And if you're also pessimistic, it might be that you also might have those kinds of attachment that are not necessarily secure. And I don't like to say that we can blame everything on our parents, because I think that while we have this shows kind of like the importance of early experiences, we always can learn something new. And that's what I always tell people: we can always learn something new. And no matter what you've been through, no matter what you go through in life, you can always decide what to make out of it. And because we're not just simply reacting, we can actually respond and have the free will to learn new things. It's just a matter of work. But again, so that's how our mothers can actually, and our caretakers from an early age can actually determine how optimistic or pessimistic we are, and how also those relationships that we form in the future will be in a part dependent on the things that we learn from a very early age. So if we learned that we don't have somebody to trust, that somebody to take care of us, that somebody to look after us, we're probably going to try to shield ourselves from the world because we don't trust the world. But if we find that we have been loved by our mothers, loved by our caregivers, and offered just also, aside from that physiological needs being met, the emotional needs of affection, of love, of being wanted, people tend to fare off better, because that's what you learn from an early age. And so in that carries over to relationships that we have later. And so so that's kind of it for today. I think that sets the tone for our next series, which not next series, but the next lectures, which are actually going to be on the relationship with our other family members, which are also important, but not as important as our primary caregivers. And then we'll jump to friends, and then to co-workers, and finally to intimate relationships, because I'm not an expert there.